Everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing the third in our March release collection, and we are going opulent today. We are going decadent. We are going back in time to the Victorian era, and we are creating a Victorian Rose scented soap. It's a very actual simple design because we are only using one colour, which is uncoloured, in our soap, so it's actually going to be really easy in terms of creating the actual soap. And then we are doing some pencil layers with some beautiful gold mica, and the star of the soap has got to be the little handmade soap roses that I have created to go on the top of this soap. They are stunning. I think they're going to divide the crowd because they are quite glittery, and I know some people don't like glitter, some people love it, so they are going to be a bit of a crowd divider, but there's no denying that they're very pretty. So come and watch us making these. So today's soap is an incredibly easy base because it is all going to be one colour, and that colour is going to be uncoloured, so we don't need to be adding any colours into this at all, which makes things really easy. We have got our cooled lye water, which we are going to add to our solid and liquid oils that have been melted and blended together. And we are working at a temperature of around about 120 degrees Fahrenheit today. Again, we do tend to soap at quite high temperatures because we like our soaps to go through a gel phase, and this does help to promote the gel phase working at a higher temperature. The only exception is when we're making something like a goat's milk soap, which we don't want to gel and we don't want to risk scorching, and in those instances we work at room temperature. But today we are not doing that, so we are working at a higher temperature. Just using my stick blender now to bring this to a light trace today. And basically, trace is when the oils and the lye solution have combined together and they're not going to separate out. And to achieve that, you just want to do a combination of mixing, like I'm doing now, and then pulsing with the blender. So you can see here I have got a very light trace going on. We are basically just past emulsion, so that is where our oils and lye have combined. They're not going to separate out. And now I want to split this into 3 portions because we are doing layers today. Those layers are going to be separated by a little pencil line. So I'm going to separate this out into 3 equal portions. So this is the first of the portions, and I am now going to use the stick blender to just bring it to a slightly thicker trace so that our layers hopefully firm up quite quickly and nicely. And the reason that I brought it to the medium trace after I had split down into 3 separate portions is because I didn't want to thicken the whole lot in one go, because we are working in layers. And by the time we get to layer 3, if we had traced it all to the same level at the same time, that 3rd layer might be getting a little thick to pour. So I prefer to break down and trace separately when I am doing layers. Now we need to add in the fragrance to this one. And today we are using the scent Victorian Rose from Sells the Smells on Facebook. This is actually a Nature's Garden scent that is sold in the UK through the Sell the Smells Facebook group, which I have just discovered and I'm falling a little bit in love with. This scent is absolutely gorgeous. It really does smell just like a stereotypical rose, you know, that old-fashioned kind of rose scent. It is very fragrant and very, very beautiful. We are adding in 13.3 grams because we need 40 grams for the whole batch, and I want each portion to be scented equally, so I weighed out 1/3 of the fragrance oil, which I am now incorporating in nicely, and then we're going to pull in our mould and pour the first of our 3 layers. So really incredibly easy, just pouring nicely into the mould. And generally I do coloured soaps, and they do take a little bit more effort to get the colouring right, especially using natural colourants, which we do a lot of. So it's kind of a really nice easy soap for us today. Just giving it a little shake and a tap down to make sure the level is even and that any air bubbles that are in that soap can escape. Now, as I said, today's layers are going to be separated by a mica pencil line, and for that I am using 1 gram of pure gold mica from Resonate. I'm going to pop it into this little tea strainer. It's the first time I've used this, so we're crossing our fingers that it will work. And to create a pencil line, you just want to shake gently so that the mica falls out of the strainer and onto the soap. With a pencil line, it's important not to have it too thick. If the pencil line is too thick, there is a chance that your layers won't adhere to each other correctly, and then your soap could end up falling apart at the layer points. So a very thin mica line is what we need. So here we have got our very thin mica line, and we're going to pop the mould to one side now and allow this bottom layer to firm up. Now we're bringing back in portion number 2, and we're going to repeat the process. So we're going to use our stick blender to bring it to a medium trace now. Then we are going to add in the 13.3 grams of that Victorian Rose fragrance oil and incorporate them into the batter until they are nicely mixed in, just so there is a nice even disbursement of the fragrance oil. You could do this with a stick blender. I prefer to do it with a spatula because I feel like I've got more control of actually working the fragrance oil in. If I was to use a stick blender, I would be a little bit worried about going too far and tracing the batter too much, so I always prefer to blend my spatulas. No, I don't. I prefer to blend my fragrance oils in with spatulas. So that first layer has set up fairly nicely, but this second layer I'm going to pour over the spatula, and this just helps to break the fall and lowers the chances of this batter that I'm pouring in now breaking down through the lower layer, which we don't want because we want very nice crisp lines, and we don't want this batter to go down through the lower layers. So over a spatula is always good if you've got any concerns that it might break through. Once you've kind of covered the whole of the base, you're kind of past the danger zone, and you can just pour as usual. And I'm just going to use the spatula just to coax it into those nooks and crannies that it hasn't yet filled. Just spreading it, getting it fairly level. Then we'll do the shake and the tap down again to release any air bubbles and to make sure that this layer is as straight and level as possible. Now we're going to do the same again. We are putting that gold pencil line in, so just gently shaking. And I kind of do one quick pass, and then I look and work out where we need more. So down this end. And then I just fill in all the gaps with the mica line. So, second line done. Time to pop this to the side again and allow it to firm up. Now we're going to work on our third and final layer. And this third and final layer has actually thickened up quite nicely by itself, just being sat there. And as you can see, this is exactly why we wanted that light trace to begin with, because any thicker and this would have been verging on unpourable by the time we got to it. So I'm not going to thicken that any further with the stick blender because it doesn't need it, so we're just going to pour in the 13.3 grams of the fragrance oil. As before, and mix it well to combine, and then pour it carefully over the spatula, over the top of that second layer. This is pouring really nicely. And after this, we are just going to decorate the top. I have got a real treat for the top of this soap bar today. I can't wait to show you guys what I've created to go on top of this one. It's exciting. It took me absolutely ages to do, but hopefully it's going to look really pretty, really effective, and create a really beautiful soap that is going to be perfect for gifting to that special lady or indeed gentleman in your life. So to begin the decoration for the top of this soap, I have mixed some of that pure gold mica with a little bit of olive oil. And I'm just going to use a pipette to just do a little drizzle across the top of the soap, just to add a little bit more interest. Then I'm going to take a chopstick and I'm just going to swirl through that gold, just kind of pulling it around however I fancy. There is no right or wrong way to do this, purely down to whatever you fancy. Now we need to pop this to one side till it firms up a little bit, because we have got some embeds for the top. So today's embeds are these little, or should I say large, gold roses. Ignore these green ferns here, they are left over from a soap that I did yesterday. We are using the gold roses. And I have created these little gold roses out of soap dough. All by hand. They took me absolutely ages. I have got about 24 roses to go on top of the soap, and I am not lying when I say they took me about 7 hours to create. Completely not sustainable long term, which is why this is only a limited edition soap. If I was factoring in my time in the cost of these bars, it would make them completely unaffordable realistically, because I would probably have to be charging about £20 a bar. But luckily I did it for love, so I'm not factoring in my time on this particular design, which is a bit of a business mistake, but I enjoyed doing it. And as I say, it's only a limited edition soap, so I only need to do it twice. So yeah, you won't be seeing many of these big roses on top of our soaps, but today you will be seeing them, and I think they're really pretty. I have coated them with just some of that pure gold mica and a little bit of copper eco glitter as well, just to give them a really nice shimmer. So now this soap has firmed up enough for us to start popping on our little rose embeds. I keep saying little, they're really not that little. In fact, they are so large that they will be cut on the bars. I'm fully prepared for these to be cut through, because our bars are 1 inch and these are all wider than 1 inch. So they'll be cut, but that's okay. It's kind of part of the design. And what we're going to do is start at one end, and we are just going to press them down into position. And then just going along, I am slightly sort of overlapping them, if you see what I mean, so that when this bar's cut, for example, you'll get half of this rose and half of this rose. So you may not get a whole rose, but you might get 2 halves, which make a whole. So that's okay. And all I'm going to do is work my way up this soap, just placing these carefully all down into the soap. Let's cue some music while I do that. So there we go, and as you can see, I have worked down and packed them really tightly together, so even though no one will get a whole rose, you will get a nice good chunk of a few roses. And I fully expect this soap to divide the crowd. I think there is going to be some of you that really don't like the glitteriness, which is all good. Some people don't like glitter, you know. I'm not the biggest fan of using it actually myself, to be honest, but I love the way it looks, and I think there will be those of you out there who really do like the glittery look. So this is a love it or hate it kind of soap, I think. So be honest, let us know what you think of it. This is our Victorian Rose scented soap. And because it's the Victorian Rose, that is kind of why we have incorporated the gold as well. We wanted to get that kind of antique rose, gold, rich, opulent feeling. And even if you hate this soap, I think you could probably admit that we have gone opulent today. There's no denying that. Come back tomorrow, we shall chop it up and we shall see how those mica lines on the inside have worked out. So now we are on the next day and it is time to slice this baby up and see what it looks like on the inside. I have got it on its side today for cutting because we've got that mica line in the middle and we don't want that to be dragged through the soap, so we are cutting on the side. And I'm so looking forward to seeing how this one turns out and what those roses look like. So let's pull out a central piece. Ooh. And there we go, that is today's soap. You can see we've got that beautiful mica line running through the centre, just separating those layers. And on the top there, this one has got a couple of roses. So very happy with this first part. Let's just check a second one. Let's go for this one here. Ooh. There we are. The roses on top. And the very simple but effective and pretty middle design with the mica line. And I think that is a really sweet little bar of soap. I think we really have kind of captured the Victorian Rose theme that we were going for, just with the classic gold and cream colouring. So pretty happy with these ones. So I genuinely just cannot get over the scent that is coming off of these bars. It is so beautiful. It really is a classic English rose scent and I am a little bit in love with it. The bars as a whole are looking really pretty with that gold mica line, and now we can see the top there with the roses, so obviously have been cut, but I think it looks good. Yeah, I am very happy with today's design and I think it fits perfectly in with our Mother's Day collection. It would probably also fit in with a kind of wedding collection with the colours and the roses and whatnot, but it's part of our Mother's Day collection, so hopefully there's some mothers out there that will like it. If you like it enough to treat your mother, then please do. Our website is here and these are going to be available to purchase from the 1st of March. And if you want to use our discount code to get a little bit of money off, pop this code in at checkout and you'll get a lovely, lovely 20% off. Thank you for watching today's video. As always, if you have enjoyed it, please do subscribe, please do give us a like and give us a comment. And don't forget to check out our Tuesday videos as well, where we bring you the behind the scenes goings on of the Sussex Handmade Soap Company. A little bit of a insight there into what else we do other than standing around making videos. Enjoy your week and we shall see you next Friday or maybe even Tuesday for some more soapy goodness. Bye!
Goodbye.